Libra, this is your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation from Born Without Boundaries. In these weekly videos, I review the major planetary aspects and transits and how they impact your natal sun and what that means for your bottom line. We're going to start out really broad with the big stuff, the stuff that everybody should be aware of and that will be impacting everybody. And then I'm going to focus it down into Libra specific information that all Libras should know about. And then we're going to break things down into the decans, which is a group of 10 degrees, so that I could see how things are directly impacting your natal sun based on their placement in the zodiac sign of Libra. Now, if you don't know exactly where your natal sun is located, that's okay. All you need to know for this video is your birth date, and I'm sure you know that. And I will translate those birth dates, the degrees, into the correlating birth dates. If you want to know exactly where your natal sun is located, go get your natal chart. They're free online. Many websites do them. You just need to bring your birth date, which you already have, and then you need to find out your birth time and your birth location. And with that information, you can run a free natal chart in like a couple of seconds. So check that out. Let's dive in to the big stuff. So the big stuff this week is, first of all, the moon. We just had a full moon yesterday, but we're still feeling that impact of that full moon, especially because now on the 4th, happy Independence Day to everybody, to all my fellow Americans. God bless you all, and I hope you're having a beautiful 4th of July long weekend. I hope you took the extra day off. I think well, I was just distracted. That moon is, it started on the 3rd, but the moon is now conjuncting Pluto on the 4th. And that conjunction to Pluto is going to bring that moon conjunct Pluto is going to be trine to Jupiter, which is going to expand it and make it bigger than it normally would be, the energy. It's going to maximize the volume of that energy. And then it's also a sextile to Neptune, which is so psychic. Like, there's so much psychic energy here. There's so much spiritual energy here. Huge revelations and breakthroughs kind of being spit out right now, especially with the sun still conjunct Mercury. This is exceptionally intense energy this week to start the week off, and I do think it really sets the week in motion, and this intense energy continues to play out, especially with those things in the depth of our souls or business and stuff that's going on in Capricornian corporate energy. Could even be greed, fear, law, rules, regulations, all of those things really kind of plowing through that right now. We have Venus conjunct to Mars all week long, which does directly impact you because Venus is your ruling dignitary. And so there's a huge impact on you. Still, as Mars at the end of this week, this is the week of July 4th through July 10th. So on July 10th, Mars is actually going to be transiting into Virgo. And Venus this week is starting to slow down. She hasn't posted stationary yet, but she's starting to slow down because by the end of this month, Venus is going to be going into retrograde. So we're going to start to see her slow down and her and Mars part and separate. So, the actions that we take and the desires that we have are now it's going to be easier to delineate the difference between those two at this point. Mars heads into Virgo on the 10th. That gives us a very almost pedantic and maybe worrisome energy when it comes to getting things done or going off schedule or having things thrown at us that we didn't expect. Mars in Virgo doesn't like it. It can be very volatile energy when it comes to we have to stay on schedule. If we're not on schedule, it could make you feel like things are off. It's not the easiest energy to have. I know because I have it in my natal chart. It's tough. We also have Venus square to Uranus. What does that mean? We're attracted to different things, or the things that we're attracted to this week is going to challenge us because it's going to throw us off. It's going to be like this own internal rebellion. Things that we didn't expect could be curveballs that come at us when it comes to what we desire or what we want, or not feeling attractive or feeling like almost like our interests are starting to cause challenges maybe in our love life or with what we're trying to go after and what we desire. So once again, also kind of volatile energy that's going on here. We also have by July 6th, the sun square to Chiron while it is sextile to Uranus. So there is that sense of our bruised ego trying to find or make changes because of things maybe being reactive to what we feel like we've been through or how our ego has been traumatized, how we see ourselves has been traumatized, maybe our own self or personal image, right? Those challenges that we're having being brought into light and challenging us to change, and opportunity coming through in places that we never really expected. We have a grand square in the sky this week, which is challenging energy. It makes you feel stuck. It's like being put in a pressure cooker, and it's between Pluto, the north and south node, and Mercury, which slides into position directly opposite Pluto by the 8th of this week. From the 8th through the 13th of this month, we have this pressure cooker in the sky, especially when it comes to explosive content or information coming out, because Pluto opposite Mercury is this sense of what hasn't been said. What have we held back? What have people tried to hide from other people? This kind of pressure cooker is going to take a turning point now. Once again, could be highly volatile and explosive. So that is definitely the stuff to watch for this week. When it comes to Libra specific energy, let's get into what's happening in the zodiac sign of Libra. Nothing. There's no major planetary aspects or transits right now, but one is coming, and it's coming next week, and that is the South Node is about to enter Libra. This will give us sort of an easement and maybe an appeasement when it comes to togetherness and partnerships and feeling more comfortable being in partnership as opposed to being extremely individual, which is where the North Node is going to be over in Aries. So this is a mentality shift that's going to start to happen throughout our globe. But let's go on and see what's happening with Venus this week, because we've talked about it. We've talked a little bit about it already. So Venus is conjunct to Mars all week long. So there is still a sense of desire and sexuality and sensuality being coupled with going after it and getting after it. So this sort of intense heat inside of us, especially since this is happening in Leo. And then we have Venus square to Uranus, which is the oddities and the changes and the curveballs when it comes to just wanting to rebel against our normal desires and what we've normally wanted or felt was valuable. And then the trine to Chiron, which means we're trying to heal past trauma. We're trying to heal the ways that we felt bad about ourselves, or the way that we looked, or that all of those things have been compromised. We're trying to make different choices and maybe even being molded to try something outside of our boxes because of the old stuff that didn't work right. And then we have this quincunx to Neptune, which means that fantasies could have been a big part of what got in our way. You know, a sense of we were just too distracted by losing ourselves in delusion, as opposed to seeing what's in front of us and looking at the value there. So this is challenging energy. It's in your face energy this week. Let's break things down into the decans to see exactly how that's impacting each of your natal suns. So if you know that your natal sun is located between 0 and 9 degrees Libra, you know that it's in Libra 1, the first decan. So you are Libra 1s. This usually translates to birthdays. I would say September Libras. So between, say, the 21st, 22nd of September through the 30th of September, maybe into the 1st of October, some years. So that's the toggle point where you're really going to have to get your natal chart, if you're on the cusp of Virgo especially, where that birthday begins. But all Virgo cuspers in Libra, you are definitely Libra 1s right up through the end of September. So your natal suns, this is what's happening to them. Right now, if you are at the cusp, so basically the 21st, 22nd, 23rd of September, your natal suns are in opposition to Neptune. So especially since Venus is quincunx to Neptune, this is a sense where self-deception, delusion, being easily fooled or easily tricked, this is going to be intensified this week, and it could really start frustrating you. And your major frustration could be about just be running up into the way that people have deceived you, or the way that you've deceived yourself, you know, and bought that tonic water as solid gold thinking it was going to go somewhere. This is also, you guys also, if you're at the cusp, especially on the 8th of this week, start or through the 8th of this month or of this week, through July 8th, you're going to be sextile to Mercury. So there is a sense to communicate clearly, or information coming in and being able to see clearly, being able to express yourself with great articulation. This is helpful energy, but it only lasts through the 8th. So just FYI. You have a trine to Pluto. Trine to Pluto is all about accepting your change and welcoming it. It's almost like the cocoon opening up when it comes to feeling good and feeling right about your dynamics, and being ready and being prepared, be like metamorphosizing, right? Spreading your wings. That's what it's about. So this opposition to Neptune will still frustrate you and will still challenge you to sort of wake up and not be too much of a pushover. But this trine to Pluto is not a square to Pluto. So this will give your nature almost a soothing nature about you. This sense of people will not challenge you or feel like you're butting heads, but instead they'll kind of trust your psychic energy and psychic ability, and they may be even coming up to you, talking to you more than normal, because they can kind of sense that you'll be comfortable around them, and you may be feeling more at ease and comfortable with darker situations. They're not scaring you anymore. You're not scared as easily, and you're finding harmony with those fears that were rooted deep inside of you. You're changing. So that's actually really beautiful energy. And there's this quincunx to Saturn, which means you're rubbing up against rules, laws, and regulations. So overall, not the most wonderful year for you right now, long term, but ultimately this sextile to Mercury is a little bit of relief or light in this dark, dark tunnel, saying that you will be able to think great thoughts and communicate clearly this week, at least up through the 8th. So if you have any interviews to do or presentations to give or auditions to go on, do it by the 8th and you'll put yourself at an advantage. Okay, Libra 2s. So this is if your natal sun is somewhere between 10 and 19 degrees Libra. It translates to those Libras born October 1st through the 10th, maybe up to the 11th, depending on the year. But it's pretty much the first 10 days in October. We have through the 7th, so through July 7th, if you're born around the 1st or 2nd of October, your natal suns are going to be sextile to Venus. This is really sexy energy, beautiful energy for relationships, for dating, for being flirtatious, and for people just overall finding you attractive. You'll still be able to feel this a little past the 7th, but definitely the first few days of this week, it's going to feel good. You do all week long have a square to the sun, which means, once again, batting heads with people's egos, or finding that your ego is batting heads with other people's egos. And it's kind of unavoidable this week, this sense of kind of challenge that's coming from other people wanting to shine as much as other people. So that could pose some challenges. You're also in opposition to, your natal suns are in opposition to Chiron, which means never feeling good enough, which means that there could be, especially with that square to the sun, major challenges when it comes to arrogance, because arrogance is what happens to us when we don't feel good about ourselves, but we want to, compete. And so watch out for that, because that could be really, really deconstructive energy this week. And then you guys have, especially if you're born around the 1st or the 2nd, this quincunx to Jupiter, meaning you're taking everything to the extreme, blowing everything up, or trying to rush things. This is happening for the next kind of month with you guys. And so trying to rush things, even though maybe you're not really ready, you just kind of want to be out of the discomfort of getting there, right? And then this semi-square to Mars, or Venus conjunct Mars, is saying there's lots of tension or frustration, stubbornness when it comes to your sex life, sexual frustration. So this overall is an extremely frustrating week where you will want to rush through things. Even if you're not ready, it'll be very hard for you to slow yourself down, and you could respond with arrogance and egotism because you're just so frustrated, and deep down inside you don't feel like you're good enough, or you don't feel like other people are treating you with what you really deserve, but you may not be ready. You may not be actually deserving of it yet. So frustrating energy. And it is a good week to try to ground yourself in earth, walk around barefoot, allow yourself to be calm and relaxed. And for air signs especially, meditation is key. When you're feeling this way, get back to your breath and take even just a minute a day to make yourself feel at ease so you can come back to that calm throughout the day. We have 3 Venus, they're Libra 3s. So if you know your natal sun is located somewhere between 20 and 29 degrees Libra, you are Libra 3s. This correlates usually to birthdays between the 11th and the 21st of October. So right up to those Scorpio cuspers, you are definitely going to be Libra 3s. Your natal suns, if you are at the cusp, so your natal suns can also be opposite to Chiron. If you are born somewhere between the 11th and 12th especially, it's really going to be those of you born between the 9th and 12th of October that are really feeling the impact of the opposition to Chiron, because it's at 19 degrees Aries. So same thing I said to Libra 2s, this sense of not feeling good enough and always feeling like it's not good enough, you're not good enough, everything that you do isn't good enough. And it could even be old aches and pains creeping up and starting to come out and really frustrating the way you feel about yourself. So it is actually a good time to heal in some ways if you're dealing with physical injuries especially, but also those hits to your ego and how you feel about yourself. Figuring out how to heal those is really important over this next year. All week long, for long term, you have a square to Pluto. This square to Pluto gives you a very formidable energy, a very formidable nature. And then, so people could be challenging you, or you could feel like you're challenging them just by walking into a room, and you don't even know why they are so intimidated by you. And this will go on for a couple of years. So just FYI when it comes to it, especially with Libras, you may try to compensate by placating too much. Don't placate your standards. Just listen more and talk less, but don't placate by compromising your standards, because that's going to compromise yourself, and you don't want to do that. You could also get really relentless about things, which is wonderful. But when your sun squares Pluto, it's all about staying relentless but not getting ruthless, not allowing yourself to be so desperate that you're willing to achieve at any cost, because you can do that too. And that will build some real bad dharma for you, and you don't want to do that. Just an FYI. You have this long-term trine to Neptune, which is creative energy. Sun trine Neptune is you're extremely creative right now, and you're finding that creative space. Trust it and allow it to flow through you. And this quincunx to Uranus will just frustrating with curveballs always coming up. Get used to hitting curveballs for the next year or so. You will continue to hit them. You have to hit them. So expect the unexpected and don't take it personally. That's the major thing when you're dealing with any frustrating Uranus energy. Don't take it personally, because it's absolutely not, but it's going to try your patience and get on your last nerve. But this week, your natal suns are sextile to Venus conjunct Mars, and through the 6th of July, they are square to Mercury. So there is this intense energy of real beauty and attractiveness about you right now that is very sexual and sexy. When it comes to your love life or your value, you may really get some wonderful opportunities. Could even be dealing with finances. Get some really wonderful opportunities that just work out for you this week. But when it comes to communications, there's going to be frustrations. People not getting emails, people not getting the communications correctly, having to say things or go over things twice because there's that square to Mercury. It's okay though, because things can still work out when it comes to that romance or financial front, people valuing you overall. So that's a good thing. You let me know in the comments below how this energy is impacting you, Libra. I would love to know. And then please come on over and enjoy your week ahead tarot card reading from Born Without Boundaries Tarot. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. And remember, guys, if you really want to help the channel, I am trying to sell. Can we get 100 of these? Yes, there's Taurus, there's Scorpio, there's all 12 zodiac signs. There's absolutely Libra. I just don't have one with me right now. So buy some hats. Go to www.bornwithoutboundariestarot.com and purchase your hats. They're so cute. They're available in white as well. Either color, any color, that either black or white. And you'll really be helping out the channel. And also be getting a really cute freaking hat because they look adorable, don't they? All right, guys. I will see you in the video.